Squid Game Season 3 comes back with a punch that's darker, more intense, and emotionally overwhelming. While Season 1 had those nostalgic Korean children's games with deadly outcomes, in Season 2 expanded with more international ideas, Season 3 strips it all down to just 3 games. But don't let the number fool you, each one is packed with high-stakes survival, deep betrayals, and moral chaos. The final season wastes no time throwing the remaining contestants into psychological warfare masked as childhood fun, and each challenge is more horrifying than the last. This time, it's not about how many games they play, it's about how much trauma and loss can be packed into just 3 rounds of pure carnage. The first game kicks off in Episode 1 and finishes in Episode 2, and it's a disturbing twist on the classic childhood game of hide-and-seek. In this version, players are randomly split into 2 groups using a gumball machine filled with red and blue balls. The red team becomes the taggers, while the blue team becomes the hiders. But instead of a simple "you're it," the taggers are given real knives, and the hiders get special keys used to escape through the locked doors in the arena. Each key has a shape: square, triangle, or circle, and hiders need to work together to find all 3 key shapes to unlock the exit door. That sounds like a team game, but in this world, trust is a luxury no one can afford. Some players do team up and share their keys, while others lie, betray, or even kill to snatch someone else's key and make it to the end. To make things worse, each tagger has to kill at least 1 hider to move on to the next round. So even if a tagger doesn't want to kill, they have to or they die. Some of the red team players follow the rules and kill just 1 person. But others, as expected in Squid Game, go off the rails and start killing multiple hiders just to reduce the competition. The game only lasts for 30 minutes, but within that time, chaos completely takes over. Players are also given a chance to switch teams before the game begins, but only if they can convince someone else to trade places with them. Once the countdown begins, the hiders get 2 minutes to find a hiding spot or plan their escape, and then it becomes a kill or be killed situation. A few key deaths happen here, including player 388, Dae-ho, player 120, Hyunju, player 044, Seonyo, and player 007, Park Young-sik. But we also see some major survivors pushing through to the next round, including Gi-hun, player 456, Lee Myung-ji, player 333, Kim Jun-hui, player 222, Jang Jim-ja, player 149, Min-soo, player 125, Namgyu, player 124, and Jang-dae, player 100. By the time this game ends, alliances are broken, trust is shattered, and most of the players realize the only way forward is to become a monster themselves or be killed by one. Then comes the second game in Episode 3 and 4, which feels deceptively simple: jump rope. But of course, this is Squid Game, and nothing is as innocent as it sounds. In this version, the rope isn't soft or flexible, it's a giant steel rod controlled by 2 creepy robot dolls. One of them is Young-hee, who we all remember from Season 1, and the other is her robot brother. The players have to walk across a super narrow ramp suspended over a pit, and every time the spinning steel rod comes swinging at their legs, they must jump at the right moment. Fail to jump, or lose balance even slightly, and they fall into the abyss below and die instantly. It's not just about surviving the swings. Players are also expected to cross to the other side of the ramp within 20 minutes, or they're automatically eliminated. That timer adds huge pressure to an already terrifying challenge. The first to attempt it is player 124, Namgyu, but he doesn't make it to the other side and dies. Gi-hun goes next and completes the run, giving hope to the remaining players. But soon, one contestant tries to cheat the system. After reaching the end of the ramp, he begins pushing others off to make sure he's the only one left. Luckily, Gi-hun steps in and threatens to push him off if he doesn't stop sabotaging others. Even with some teamwork and fair play, the game still claims lives. Player 124 and player 222, Kim Jun-hui, died during this challenge. Meanwhile, Gi-hun, Myung-ji, Min-soo, Jang-dae, and shockingly, Junhui's baby are the only survivors. It's worth noting that the baby's survival becomes a major emotional point going forward, symbolizing innocence in a world gone completely mad. The ramp, the steel rope, and the ticking clock, all of it combined create one of the most visually intense moments in the whole series. But it's the actions of the players, their fear, their betrayal, and their brief moments of compassion that truly make this round unforgettable. Finally, we arrive at the last game in Episodes 5 and 6, Sky Squid Game. This final round takes place on 3 massive sky-high pillars, each shaped like a square, triangle, or circle, much like the key shapes from the first game. It's poetic and cruel how the game comes full circle like that. The last 8 players are taken to the top of the first pillar using an elevator. Once there, a 15-minute timer begins as soon as someone presses a button on the ground. Within those 15 minutes, at least one player must be pushed off the pillar or everyone dies. Only after a person falls can the rest move on to the next pillar. The same thing happens at the triangular and circular platforms. One fall equals progress, no fall means death for all. This game forces the players to kill each other physically. No tools, no tricks, just raw physical violence. At this point, the players have formed fragile connections, but now they're being asked to kill each other face to face. On the square platform, Gi-hun grabs a steel rod and pushes Min-soo to his death. That one death is enough for the rest to move forward, but the damage is already done. By the time they reach the triangle platform, Gi-hun is under attack, but he manages to flip the situation using a knife that the front man secretly gave him. Eventually, only Gi-hun, Myung-gi, the baby, and Jong-dae remain. What makes the final round even more chilling is what happens on the last circular platform. Instead of pressing the button to start the timer, Myung-gi and Gi-hun decide to fight anyway, knowing that only one of them can win. They battle without the countdown, making it personal. In the end, Myung-gi falls and Gi-hun and the baby are the only ones left standing. In a heartbreaking moment, Gi-hun sacrifices himself to make sure Junhui's baby survives and becomes the ultimate winner of Squid Game Season 3. The deaths in this final game are some of the most painful in the series. Player 456, Gi-hun, Player 333, Myung-gi, Player 125, Min-soo, and Player 100, Jong-dae, all meet their ends here. But their deaths aren't just for shock, they carry emotional weight and tie back to the entire series' theme of lost humanity and the desperation to cling to hope. The only winner is Player 222's baby, a symbol of both innocence and tragedy in a world built on blood. By the time the series ends, fans are left breathless, not because of how many games there were, but because of how emotionally heavy and morally complex each one turned out to be. From the chaotic hide-and-seek, to the mechanical horror of jump rope, and finally to the sky-high deathmatch in Sky Squid Game, Season 3 delivers fewer games, but packs them with more meaning, more violence, and more emotional destruction than ever before. Each challenge strips away the last bits of humanity from the contestants, making them confront what they're truly capable of when survival is on the line. And through all of it, the story of Song Gi-hun comes to a tragic but fitting end, reminding us that even in the darkest situations, sacrifice and love can still exist, even if it costs you your life.